69 years ago today was his funeral. He would probably still be alive today. And every year, in some way, shape, or form as a teacher, I want to remind my students about a boy named Emmett Till and the very ugly history of America in the 1950s. This next clip is from episode 3 of my podcast, which aired a year ago on the anniversary of his death. On this day in 1955, Emmett Till was murdered. August 28th, 1955, a travesty occurred in Mississippi that exemplified the existing racism that permeated the American South. Emmett was a 14-year-old boy from Chicago who was visiting his family in Mississippi. His mama had told him that things were different there for black folk than in Chicago. Yet, he was a teenage boy, and he was a prankster. And he was hanging out with his cousin and some friends and was bragging that he had a white girlfriend back in Chicago. His friends dared him to ask the lady who was minding the store out on a date. All they heard as Emmett was coming out of the store was him saying, "Bye, baby." She alleged that he flirted with her and grabbed her. So days later, the woman's husband and the store owner showed up at Emmett's uncle's house, dragged him out, put him in their car, beat him, tied him to a heavy industrial fan with barbed wire, and threw him in the river, where his bloated body was recovered 3 days later. His mother insisted that his funeral back in Chicago be an open casket. The story was covered in the national news. The 2 men who were responsible were put on trial, and despite an eyewitness, were found not guilty by an all-white jury in Mississippi, outraging much of the country.